What's up, guys? Back on the Aristo. Last time we got the fuel system all fixed up, but we found another problem. That problem was something in the gas tank now. So we're back to diagnostics or just replacing parts because that's all I've been basically doing. Fuel pumps next. So I got a Walbro 450 and an install kit, and Lyndon came to help me get the back seat out because it's super heavy. I will say I already did something I was going to show you guys, but I didn't. These cars and Supras and the SCs, they have a fuel pump control module. It's basically like a resistor, but it's actually PWM'd on these cars. So what most people do when they put an aftermarket pump, or even the things that I've done, is you basically just bypass it. So you take the power in and the power out, and you just crimp them together, you unplug the thing, you basically throw it in the trash can. After doing some reading, there is a good chance it was bad, and that was one of my hard start issues. So that's another part. We're going down the rabbit hole, but you know what? It's going to be good because we can put the car on ethanol here very shortly. Single turbo will be happy, and we'll have plenty of fuel if we're on pump gas or on ethanol for the amount of horsepower this thing's going to ever make because of the automatic transmission. So let me show you just real quick what this pump controller looks like and then what pump we got. All right, so this is Lyndon.
What's up?
He's a BMW guy. Yeah. So this is the pump controller right here. You can see it's got a big heat sink on the back of it. Basically what it does is slows the pump down, cuts the voltage. The 2 pins on the left is basically what you end up putting together down in here. It's the 2 big wires. But next thing is I got this Walbro pump, TI Automotive. There's the part number right there. It's a Walbro 450. And then I got their upgraded newer install kit because it comes with like this really nice plastic accordion line. It's got the better sock, and it comes with an extra like high amperage plug for whatever, but we're going to do something different on this thing. All right, so we have to get the back seat out, but it's still on the lift. There's a couple things that I wanted to leave off until I tested the fuel system, but I did that last time, just couldn't make any fuel pressure. So, going to get the car back up, put the stuff that needs to go back on as far as heat shields and stuff like that, get the car off the lift, roll it backwards so that we can open the door so we can get the back seat out. It's 2 very large pieces. They're very heavy. That's kind of why Lyndon came by, helped me, so I don't beat the car up. So we're going to get it off the lift and we'll pick up there. All right, so you can see I'm red. We got the seats out. We just kind of went for it. But you got to see here, basically this stuff here has to come out. It just kind of lifts out, but it's kind of stuck in a few places. And then there's a big fuel pump like cavity that you have to, like the access panel you have to take off and then go from there as well. There's 4 bolts, they're 12s to get the seat out. And then don't forget to take the outside, basically rear seat belts, disconnect them, take them out. They go up into the rear deck here. Like I said, we got to get this out and then access the fuel pump hanger situation. I think we're just going to flip it up. So, yeah, I'll show you when I got it all out. All right, guys, so we got the little acorn nuts off. This is really nice because Toyota of the 90s was really something else. They really built a real good car. I will say this has that, like, if you've ever been inside a window to do a regulator, that like really nasty black
Butyl rubber.
Butyl rubber, is that what it's called? Butyl rubber. It sucks. It's basically like anti-seize. You're going to be covered in it. And then it takes like a week and a half to come off, even with acetone. So we got to get this thing, but listen, pretty amazing, really. But yeah, so it is sealed with that stuff. You know, the SC one, the SC one, it's not as bad as this. It's not as big. It has like an access in the middle of it. Like it has one of these.
That would be nice.
But there's like a hole right here.
Yeah.
Which, could I do that? Sure. Am I going to? Nope. Ugh, gross. Now this is the same gas tank as an SC300 and the SC. Oh God, here is this giant piece. Oh no. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, I wish that you guys could have seen that because this. Oh, you can see it now. Whoa. Okay, so we have to. Here we go. Okay, so you guys can see this looks pretty much identical to an SC300. Let's put this outside. Are you like attached to it now?
No. Well, the pry bar is.
All right. So, guys, you can see. Just try not to kneel in this stuff because I'm telling you, it doesn't come off and it's really nasty. If you're wearing nice clothes, it's on there forever. So just be aware. You can kind of like push it back down but I don't really know what else to tell you. But basically, thankfully, I did notice that I left this car with less than a quarter tank of gas, thankfully. Because you can see where this is located. If you have a third or more maybe, you're going to make a mess.
Yeah, a big mess.
You're going to make a mess. So these are all 8s. You can see this is riveted. And then it's got this like isolated jewel looking thing for the power, but this is your ground.
Typical Japanese.
It's really nice, but I will tell you guys that I have had to replace these wires with larger gauge wires. Now these, being that it's a turbo car factory, look maybe 1 gauge larger for the turbo cars. So I'm gonna grab the tools and get this out, but it looks like I need to get in the trunk because the wiring, of course, is like why there's no quick disconnect here, I don't know, but it looks like the wiring is similar, like I said, to an SC300, where it actually, the connector's like 2 feet away from the actual pump. I don't get it, but yeah, we're gonna find it. I'll let you know where it is. All right, so you guys can see this thing is, oh, it landed in the goop. But you guys can see, like, look how long this thing is. Like, it goes all the way to basically where the filler neck goes. So just be aware of that your trunk is open and you get this out. It's you pull the divider back and it's right there. It's got a little retaining clip on it. Try not to break it because it is kind of nice to have that. But gotta get this thing out. It is really nice how they do this stuff. Wouldn't it be crazy if there's an aftermarket pump in here already? And that's part of the problem.
I'm thinking it's not.
I've probably not.
I think it's going to be factory.
It's going to be factory, and I'm just hoping that my quarter tank of gas theory is correct. Yay! Oh my god, there's like, you can feel like the gas evaporation.
Yeah.
Like, dude, feel like right here.
Oh yeah.
It's just, you know what that probably is? The ethanol in the gas.
Probably.
So then you got that.
What the heck?
That's the connection you have to get to. That's crazy how much is coming out of there. No wonder it had so much pressure in it.
Looks really good in there.
Oh, thank God.
It looks like brand new.
Thank God. So, guys, I was super worried that I was going to get in here and it was going to be super grungy. Again, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because everything I've done so far, I haven't found any super obvious problems. Other than what looked like pooling in that number 1 runner.
Yeah.
Because I talked to Lyndon a lot about this stuff, because I'm like, dude, I didn't find anything except for this. Well, that's probably it. Okay, cool. Thanks. So yeah, like I'm maybe this little connection line, so that you see this little like you can kind of see it. There is two little like hose clamps here, and this is kind of like an S14. It's kind of remote mounted down in here, so you've got like this line that goes somewhere else, and then the line from the pump comes to this, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of overkill. It's kind of ridiculous, but it works well because I mean, this is a factory turbo car. But again, like I said, I haven't found anything that's obvious. I'm hoping
Man,
that
it
like
looks
this
nice
is
in there.
maybe this is ruptured. Doesn't feel like it's
think so.
ruptured.
Looks new.
I don't know, guys. I'm gonna get this thing out, and we'll try not to get gasoline everywhere. God, it looks brand new
Look
in
at
here,
the baffle.
dude. I know it's brand new. All the galvanizing and everything's
Yeah.
on it still. That's good news in its own way. We are gonna have to modify a couple things, like this guy right here. You see this right here. That is gonna get basically drilled out, but I'll show you more of that once it's on the bench.
Are there two pumps in there?
Single pump. All right, so it's out. This thing's super clean. I was hoping like maybe one of these was leaking and had like a split in the side of it. I still don't see anything. Nope. What is that? I don't know. That just might be a spot in the rubber, but everything looks good. Like this got a really nice big like pre-filter. I was just noticing it doesn't have any way to like disassemble it, so I'm guessing I just have to like pop this guy out with this rubber off or whatever it is. But you can see the power comes in here and then it grounds to this rivet down here, which what we're going to do is drill these out and put the pump directly to all of this stuff. So I got to get this thing apart. I'm going to figure that out and I'll come back to you guys. Okay, pretty simple. Lose the little clamp that's on there, just push it up, and then you just pull on it. So it just pops out. So any of you guys that have an Aristo and are trying to figure out how the hell to change the fuel pump in this thing, that's it. So clamp, then you just kind of pull on it, and you're left with this. It does have a connection on it, so you can just, and it's out. So that's that. Again, we haven't found anything that's like super bad. The line's a little squishy, but it probably is normal. Now, there is a high pressure bypass on these things, and they're in here, and sometimes they can go bad, or the pump's just lazy. People being loud. So it could be the pump's just lazy. But super nice pump. I'm gonna hang on to it, maybe put it in something else if I need it. But I was saying, drill these rivets out. That's going to be next. And then we have to make the new pump fit. More than likely, this little bit here gets just cut off because the bottom of the pump is considerably larger. But I'm going to grab it. You guys can kind of see. Okay, so like I thought with that SC that I just worked on, same setup basically. So you see the difference in pump sizes on the bottom. And then the next issue is the direction of the sock puts the outlet of the pump in a different place. All right. So this is going to have to get clamped to this, but you want it to be the same height up and down. So basically what I will typically do is mark like somewhere on here so that you make sure that it's lined up. And then just chop the bottom of this off and use a hose clamp around it. You do want to make sure you use a stainless hose clamp. That's a big deal. Use stainless. There is ethanol in regular pump gas. This is going to be on E85 before long. So I'm going to get down here. This is going to be on E85 before long. Sorry, I'm cutting my head off, but you want to make sure that this is oriented in the right direction and make sure it's at the right height. It makes a big difference. Or like your low fuel slosh, fuel pump starvation situation will be a lot worse with the factory tank if you put it higher. If you're below a certain point, you just won't get gas. So you're low, your pump won't be picking up gas. So make sure you put this in the right place. Use stainless components. That's that. I'm gonna cut this thing up, show you what I do. All right, so got my clamp. Cut this guy down. I don't know where the piece fell to, but so I rounded my edges, cleaned up the sides. Make sure you do that so you don't have any like sharp spots. And now this guy will go here like this. And the fuel line will come up and then basically to here. All the idiots have arrived downtown. But basically this needs to be clamped in this orientation, get your piece put on. It does look like I'll either need to bend or cut and lose this piece because it lines up to that piece inside the tank. So there's not a whole lot of room between the two, and we're just gonna run soft line from the new pump to where it hooks up here. So get this thing clamped on and start working on a few other things. All right, so got this guy put together. You can see stainless hose clamp. Got I put the hose on first, so make sure you do that. That's a big deal. This is a little bit long, but same stuff I used on the return line. It's the Gates green stripe biofuel. It's good for E85. It's good to be in a gas tank. Very important. Use the right fuel line, because if this ruptures, you have to take your whole car back apart. Get this guy tight. It doesn't have to be crazy because really the friction fit, I mean, I can't even turn this thing. You're going to break this thing first. So the only thing I'm going to say, so this thing right here has to go here. I don't love how this kind of wants to kink the line right here. I'm going to bend this a little bit, and then I think I'm just going to bend this a little bit so that like I can make a nice swoopy curve with this so it doesn't bend. Then again, this pump is going to flow 450 liters an hour. It's going to open this line up like it's nothing. But still, you want to have nice bends so you don't crimp it off and you don't have to worry about it and take it all back apart. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'm going to show you guys what I do with the wiring. Alright, so one thing I want to mention, after you get all this stuff drilled out, use an M5 bolt, but retain this factory star washer. This is what is going to guarantee good, a good signal to your fuel pump. It really will dig in. You'll get a really good bite on everything. I like to use stainless hardware. You can use whatever, but just realize, you know, ethanol and the ethanol in fuel itself is a corrosive thing. So use that. Use a nylock so that it can't come loose with all the vibrations that are in everything. So use all this. I'm going to get it all hooked up, show you guys the finished product, then it's going to go back in the car, put the stuff back together, make sure we don't have any leaks before we put the seat back in, and should be ready to fire up after a few things. Alright guys, that's it. So you can see I bolted that through there, got my nylock. I did move the ground to where the little filter situation, somebody's going to correct me probably, but I moved that to on top here just so that the wires were routed a little nicer. You can see this is going to go in here and get cut down, but I got my clamp on here. Don't forget that. Time to go put it back in the car. All right, back in the car. This is one side. You can see it's still two pieces, so keep this in here. All the way down here. Now, this is very important. So your pump is grounding through here. So make sure you get all this stuff tight. Make sure all this is where it needs to be. Got plenty of slack in wire here. I just have stuff. But you can see my line is extra long here, and I think that's just as far as I do this. I'm going to zip these down. So next, fish your clamp. That's all the way down in here, up here, so we can access it. This needs to move just a little bit more. Move that up here. See, my knees getting sweaty. So I'm going to take this off right now. But don't get those back. So I think, probably here-ish. You guys want to pair these guys? Get you some, because this is too easy. This is easy. Probably dangerous. Clamp back on. I will warn you guys, there's a lot of short stuff in here, so be aware. The leg doesn't bar as well as fuel. There's that. I am using supplied clamp that came with the Walbro. Just to be sure that it's good tight. I don't want to worry about some old spring clamp being tight enough to not leak. Usually on these clamps, what I do, as soon as you start seeing the hose just barely go flush with your clamp, it's plenty tight. If for some reason you have a wrong size hose and you're trying to just cram down on there and make it fit and not leak, fix your problem. You don't need to tighten down more than that. So now this guy here, if it's up before, make sure that your wires get pinched, because if you pinch your wire, you're going to feel leak. It's going to be a real number. Now you guys, I took this thing out with an impact. Don't put them back in with an impact. You will shear them off. If you're staring at this, you can see that it even has a Phillips head screwdriver bit possibility. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that, but if that's all you got, you can probably do this with it. Again, just like a wheel. Start, do your star pattern. Just remember where you started. I usually will do more than one round, just so that it gives the O-ring and gasket a chance to kind of settle and seal. Knowing Toyota, this thing probably just bottoms out, but I missed one. Yeah, it feels like it just bottoms out.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely bottoms out. Do not use power tools on this. You will break these off. Alright, that's that. Now this little clip guy goes back up here. You gotta throw this back into the trunk. And we'll plug it in, get the battery hooked back up, and test it. Leave this thing off until you make sure it sounds right. Alright guys, so with the key on, with the 12 volt mod done to your bypassing your fuel pump control, the pump will run as soon as you key on. I hear pump things doing pump things. Okay, so it was doing some weird stuff at first, and it must have been just some air in the line, or I had the charger on it as well. But it sounds great. It's got rock solid 50 psi of base pressure now that I've set it at 50. Pump sounds good. I don't smell any leaks. Nope. Everything seems to be really good. So we're going to put this thing back together and then I think hook up the laptop. All right, got the seat back in, set the base pressure, and have a fuel leak. Now that I have this pump that actually flows something. And it's at the gauge of all the weird places. Maybe I over tightened it and cracked the fitting. It's NPT stuff, so could have done that, but I got the base pressure set, so what I'm gonna do is just cap that for now, and then I'll add a pressure port somewhere later, I guess. And that way I can do a dual pressure port and put a fuel pressure sensor in it. But for right now, I'm just gonna probably pull that out and cap it, and then we're gonna try maybe to start this thing. All right, yeah, I screwed up. I over tightened this thing, and I think I damaged this fitting. Compression fittings are like that, or not compression, but pipe thread fittings. Yeah, I over tightened this into that. That's cast. I probably cracked it, but we don't have a leak again, and it seems to be okay. I'm not putting the bolts back in the regulator until we come over here and try a couple things. All right, let's see what happens. Well, that's not awful. I mean, the battery voltage is super low. No. Okay. What do we have here? Battery voltage operating minimum. I think we knew that, though. Let's close that. My battery charger doesn't seem to be doing much. I'm going to see if I can get this thing boosted up. Alright, the one thing that I need to do here is double check. This came out of a different car. So, oh no, it's on petrol. No, okay, we're good. Alright. It says that it's ready to crank this thing, but it still says it's slow. What is on here? Let's see. Where are all the buttons? Okay, so yeah, I didn't have a bunch of my tables turned on, so that's probably why I was having some issues. Prime pulse. That's not how I feel. Prime pulse. It's probably way too much fuel. That looks like probably ethanol numbers, but we'll at least try this. And we've got a proper battery now, so, well, maybe not proper battery, but the charger's working. So, well, it runs. Okay, so it's basically doing the same thing that it did before, but that makes 0 sense. So I basically need to take control of the ignition now and try that. Okay, so there's a good chance that a couple of the plugs are fouled from the valve guide seals leaking, so it's still missing on a couple of cylinders. That's great. Now, I will say it is running better than it did before. It wants to idle and stuff like that, but I think what we're going to try is actually taking control of the coils as well. I just need to make sure all the settings are right, and then we're going to go from there. Maybe turn the dwell up a little bit. Maybe the factory coils, or the factory coilers are a little weak, so that the dwell settings that the factory ECU is throwing at it just isn't lighting the fuel off. Like I said, the plugs could be fouled. That would be my bet, because this thing did smoke like crazy because of the valve guide seals. So I'm going to try taking control of the ignition now as well, and we're going to try it. Let's just see. Why not? Alright guys, so I've got some sort of issue. I think it's ignition related now. Could be plugs. Could be as simple as plugs. I haven't checked them. So what I'll probably do is get some fresh plugs for this thing, but it runs. The Haltech, no problem controlling the injectors, the new 1000cc ID 1000s, and so it's ready. It's ready. It's just there's something going on. Could have a bad igniter, could have a bad coil, could have two bad coils. Something's going on, but that's going to be it for this video. I hope this helped you guys put a pump in a JZS 147 Aristo, but yeah, so I still got problems. Hopefully you don't, but I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you guys soon. More content coming. We're going to figure out what this thing is, and there's a lot more stuff happening as well. A lot to go. This car is just constantly something, right? So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.